Welcome to an episode of Fireside Friday. It is Friday.
Hey, what a shocker.
David Tash.
Joe Rizzo.
And today we're going to discuss following up with your prospects. I know you heard before of the fortunes in the follow-up, and it's a very commonly used term. But what does it really mean? How do you really execute on it? Joe and I are going to dissect it today, and hopefully you implemented it in your recruiting staff and business.
Yep, absolutely. I think whatever type of marketing and business you're doing, we all know that it takes a matter of follow-up before someone's willing to do business. People do business with people that they know, like, and trust, and it takes multiple touches. What's the number we've heard? 8 to 12 contacts before someone actually does business with somebody? 8 to 12
positive contacts. If you cold call someone 8 times, they're most likely not going to do business with you.
Good point. So, what we want to talk about is how you're doing your follow-up and what does that look like? And, how can you make a positive impact for your potential clients so they're hearing you, seeing you, like you said, in a positive way and seen in a positive light versus a pestering light.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, you want to structure your follow-up, one, in a way that it's automated, so that way it's not taking up too much of your time. And two, you're actually giving information that people care about, that your audience feel is relevant. So this way, when you're following up, it almost feels natural, and it's not annoying like Joe just pointed out, but you're actually giving them relevant information that they can say, hey, this is useful. And it also positions you as the business owner as an authority figure or someone that at least knows what the heck they're talking about, right? And when you do that, now all of a sudden they're going to take your call, now they're going to take your meeting, and now you have opportunity to do business with that prospect because you are educating them and not just annoying them with your follow-up.
Yeah, I think traditional, we've seen it. Like, how many times have we done business with somebody that's been cold? Unless it's something you absolutely needed. How many times, David, have you actually done business with someone that's called you up cold and said, hey, I have a service to pitch you?
Yeah. Very, very few times has someone actually picked up the phone, called me that I didn't know at all, asked me for a credit card, and I gave it to them. I don't think I've ever done that in my life. That was big in maybe the 80s and 90s, early 90s. But nowadays, we have this thing called the internet, and anyone can go online, go on Google, and type for anything that they need, and they'll get a ton of results, a ton of opportunities there. So the internet killed cold calling. It's still useful, and we're not going to say don't cold call, but we're definitely going to hold on. We're definitely going to let you guys know that there are much better resources, there's much better tools, and if you don't have to cold call, most people don't want to cold call. So having
you got a couple beasts. Sorry to interrupt. A couple beasts that love it, that they a no is closer to a yes, right? You and I both know people that absolutely love cold calling, and so we're not here to convince those people that, hey, don't do it, because we're not going to. Those people that love to pick up the phone, dial for dollars, and they feel good, and they eat up those no's. But that's not who we're talking. We're talking to the majority of people like myself that don't want to pick up the phone. Love to talk to people, love to talk about what we specialize in, what product or service we specialize in, but I don't want to pick up the phone and try to convince somebody that I'm the right person for them. So that's where the attraction marketing comes from. That's where the systemized follow-up really lends to what we're talking about today, and really making that follow-up something that you're not having to do all the time. That's the other thing. How many times have you had a hot prospect and next thing you know, someone else called, they might have been a hot prospect as well, that person gets put on the back burner. Your follow-up just falls off because someone else jumped in and maybe they took priority, or something else happened, you had to go run an errand and you forgot that person.
I'll tell you this, right? How many times has your best clients been someone that told you no at the very beginning, or at least they didn't say yes to you right away? So following up is critical. It's super important. But most people, most companies, they don't have an automated way to have that follow-up in place. And that's where a lot of people drop the ball. So Joe, let's talk about what are some of the things that you can do as a maybe as a recruiter, as a staff and business owner, What can you put in place to make sure that you're always top of mind, so that way your clients, when they're ready to make another hiring decision and they need a recruiter, they need help, you're right there, front of mind, front of lobe.
Yeah. Yeah, and this can go, gosh, this could be 5 Fridays in a row, really, everyone. Like, the reality is there's so many ways that we look at this, and you have to look at things from multiple angles and different approaches. So one of them that's very obvious can be remarketing or retargeting. And that's staying top of mind to someone that you've maybe made a recent contact with, that's come to your website, has visited a specific page. That, I like it, the fact that we've all been there, gone shopping for, something called a pair of shoes. The next thing we know, we're online, we're on Google, we're on Facebook, and all of a sudden those same pair of shoes pop up and we think, oh, it's magic. That's remarketing, that's retargeting. As annoying as some people might think it is, it works. There's a reason these big companies are consistently doing that. That's how you can stay in front of somebody and stay top of mind without being annoying. Your image, your company, your message is staying top of mind for that person when they're not looking for you.
And now, retargeted, some people, we coined the phrase as re-recruiting. The key there is that on your website or on a landing page, any page that you're giving information, we put a little piece of code. So this way, when someone comes onto that website, we're able to follow up with them with very, very cost-effective advertisement that has your message, and it delivers to them again, because people need repetition, or they might need to be said a different way. So just seeing you over again, or seeing you in a different place, maybe they interact with you on LinkedIn, but now they're seeing you on Google, on a website that they visited, or maybe even on Facebook. Now your brand kind of have that global presence. It's almost like you're everywhere, you're omnipresent. And that's the real power of the remarketing. So yeah, it's a fantastic tool for follow-up. I didn't know Joe was gonna break that out the very first episode. I thought we were gonna go with just email, but hey, it's Friday, that's how he feels. I love it.
Yeah, so that's why I said there's so many different ways we can go, and I think even touched on that. Like I said, we'll probably save some more of the remarketing and really ninja type skills for another episode, because really, like I said, just remarketing, re-recruiting is a whole different thing. But looking at follow up, going back to email being so important. If we want to keep on that. We really want to take a look at a couple different segments. How can we continue to stay in front of someone, like you said, with value? And if we've got the remarketing messages, like you said, being on Google, everything else, but where else? Now we've connected with them on LinkedIn. We want that email popping up that's really, all of a sudden it's given some value, and that we've given something to somebody. So it's not just me following up with that potential client, but I've given them something of value that now has put me as the authority. And if you're looking at recruiting and staffing, that can be something that helps them out with the hiring process. Helping out, you've mentioned this several times. What's a big one is the perfect questions to ask, and really helping them out with a process that helps them, because the goal is from staffing and recruiting is to really give the HR team the top candidates for them to look at. So doing a lot of weeding out, but they still got to make that tough decision of who it is they're going to crack. So how can you offer more value so you're staying in front of that person? And this is how we're following up, is by offering value. So we stay top of mind without saying, hey, just following up. Because how many emails have you done that's just following up regarding X? Those are the worst emails. We all hate writing, hey, just following up regarding X. And this, instead of doing that, we can offer value. So now we're staying top of mind.
Awesome. Love it. So guys, we're going to give you some action items. Anyone that wants to get better at following up, we're going to put together a very simple email chain here. So let's say you're on the phone with a decision maker or hiring manager, whoever it may be. They'll let you know that, yes, they're interested in your recruiting services or your staffing services. Everything goes well. You send over the contract. Boom, nothing happens. They go cold, right? How many times does that happen? All the time, right? So now what do? Do you say, hey, checking in? Hey, following up? No. You just watched this video with Joe and Tash, right? Here's what you're going to do. Your first email can say, well, that first email afterwards needs to be a value-based email, because you don't want to just go with, hey, just checking in. It makes you seem like an average recruiter, average business person, and you don't want to be average, right? You want to be extraordinary. So that first email is to say, hey, I know you're looking for this type of position. Maybe we'll put something like, you look for this type of position. Here's some questions, or here's an article on the best type of questions to ask a short list of candidates. Like the best type of interview questions for a short list. Put that together, put that in an email and say, I just want to make sure you got this. And by the way, if you're still open to us working together, please let me know. Just something simple like that, right? Boom, email number 1. Now, email number 2, maybe it's 3 days later, maybe it's 5 days later, but you're following up and you're asking them, hey, what do you think of that blog? Or what do you think about those interview questions? Are you currently using those? So now you've kind of opened up the door for an automatic follow-up on that same topic. So now you're not really being pushy. You're not being annoying. You are trying to you're giving value, and you're positioning yourself as someone who helps first. And that's going to make you look a lot better than anyone with the just following up email. Yeah,
absolutely. And to add to that, most people we talk to specialize in an area. They have an area they specialize in. So we're not having to write a specialized email for 10 to 15 different clients. They should be. We're thinking about, okay, if I'm working in healthcare or IT recruiting, that's specifically the swim lane I'm in. So most of the time, you're able to write something that's pertinent to 5 potential clients. And that's the way we can talk about automating. Because you mentioned earlier, how do I automate this? How do I make this so I can actually have a life and I'm not sitting there writing up an email every single time for these clients? And and now I'm so busy doing follow-up, I can't do business development. So a lot of what we talk about is having that template, like David just mentioned, where we can have something that, here it is, here's that first follow-up, here's something second that's relevant to the industry, that's kind of timeless. So think about something that's in your industry that's kind of timeless, that makes sense, that you can put in there. And then if you can, at the beginning of the month, think about something that's relevant for that month as well. So that way you're not having to constantly rewrite all these emails.
Love it, guys. That's all the time we have. We'll see you again next Friday. Fireside Fridays.